So we are a Paris-based exhibition-oriented research group called La Méditerranée.
Our research turns around the exhibition as a medium, as a place of discovery, as a place of improvisation. For 10 years, each one of us has been working in processes of active exhibitions, dynamic exhibitions, trying to shift from a classic model of presentation to a rather more experimental model of exploring what exhibiting means.
We've been for a decade now, each of us working individually in exhibition as a place of action. You know, for an artist, the studio is the most primordial space. It's a place of loneliness, a place of solitude. It's a place you enter every morning and you don't know how you will get out of this place. And the exhibition, through its intrinsic structure, which is a unity of time, unity of place, very important here, and a unity of action, can bring a folklore of gesture that we cannot achieve in the loneliness of the studio. So it's really a two complementary situation.
I wouldn't say we have like distinctive roles in the group. We work as an ensemble. Of course, we have our own, artists and art historians that work hand in hand since a long time.
I think it's important that, in the sense that we don't have a role, is that when you work in a process of exhibition and discovery, where improvisation really comes to play a big part, you cannot come with a strategy. We're really much more into tactics. We have an ensemble of knowledges that we've developed through 10 years of exhibition in different places and different contexts. So we don't come with a set of plan, we come with a set of skills.
So the title of the show, Straight No Chaser, is taken from a song by Thelonious Monk. It's true that in our tactics to build exhibitions, I think we are very close to a jazz formation in a way that we all have a personal practice. And when we gather together, it becomes a place of action and improvisation, really as much as a few musicians gather on stage and begin to play together.
The exhibition is a reflection of the particular nature of the collection, which is extremely eclectic, reflecting the taste of its owner. So it was really a dialogue with the collection. It's spanning from icons that's dated back to the 16th century for the first ones, to extremely contemporary art, from living artists to even works being made within the exhibition hall.
La Méditerranée actually doesn't work with themes, no genres. So actually that changes completely on how to address a collection. What we have to do is actually not come with an idea, but interpret what we find in a particular set context in which we participate. So this is a room for interpretation, not only on Latvian culture and Latvian creation, but on how contemporary art also flows through here. Thinking of Vija Selmins, that is a Latvian artist, but today working in New York. One of the main pieces that we wanted to display in the main wall of the exhibition, as is the image of the Baltics. So the sea, we're called La Méditerranée. The sea is a place of connection. It's not a theme, but it's definitely a geographic gesture. It's a place of encounter.
So here we're presenting two new architectures that we designed for this exhibition. The two of them are, of course, inspired by the environment. The first one, the shape of the first one, floating behind us, struck us during a visit to the Central Market of Riga. That used to be, as you know, a hangar for Zeppelins.
The second one comes as almost complete merge of previous visions, where it could be seen as a mooring beacon for the Zeppelin, as you might have all seen all these pop images of the Manhattan buildings with the Zeppelin kissing it. As much it could be from Riga, as they have their own Zeppelin makers and they also have their own towers. So it really comes as a mirroring object. As much as it mirrors the roof of the exhibition, it mirrors the environment of the place it arose, it mirrors also the reference that we bring from abroad.
And the central structure of it was also inspired by a Latvian form of folklore, a typical object called the puzuris, which we encountered this through a visit, an architectural tour of the city done by Gustavs Grasis. Yeah, he also took our attention to an important exhibition, architectural exhibition, that took part in the 90s, and that was called Maya. It was for us the point of entry to this whole pre-Soviet Latvian art scene. And then we started to, it was also the first entry for us to dig into the art history of the avant-garde of Riga. And that took us back to the 70s, where, I mean, I would say that we had the main encounter with the work of Andris Greenbergs, who was a very important part of the construction of the exhibition. And also we had the great luck to meet him, and I think he was one of the most important encounters that we had.
It might be the first Latvian artist, and the most influential to us that we've met so far, and that gave for us the first dash of a color to the exhibition we are doing today. And his work is actually the poster of the exhibition, Straight No Chaser. And but Andris Greenbergs to us is really reminding us of the saying of Joseph Beuys, that art is the science of freedom. So yes, so for every new exhibition is a new opportunity to build on-site architecture, as you see here. And our aim is, in a few years, to gather all these architectures. These are the 16th and 17th architecture we've been building since 2020. And in a decade or so, we will rebuild all this architecture that we constructed in Italy, Germany, France, here in Latvia, or in Russia, and aiming to build a village.
A village in which we actually would be possible to live.
In that sense, it has this idea of a drift. Architecture comes to it as the main object of life. It's a living machine, if we refer to Le Corbusier's saying. So how to make an exhibition into a living machine rather than, sorry for putting it like that, but a death machine. Not opening a show and killing it, but making the gate to something else. So in a way, it's actually one of the main Edgar's practices stands to consider the viewer from the moment he stops being one. I think that particular position of view really reflects on the Mediterranean process, on what opening a show means. It's opening to life. It shouldn't be the ending of a process, but the beginning in which we encounter the visitor as a place of gathering. So architecture, village, and exhibition get porous in that sense, put together.
And I mean, we are artists making exhibitions, so we don't have the same constraint structure as other people would do. To us, the gesture of the exhibition is like a first settlement, première sédentarisation. It's like building a village from an artificial structure with artworks, and how can we make them like find a balance, like a harmonical balance and a social balance within this space. But that's a very primitive gesture, like that is very close to survival in a way. That was what Matteo was saying about adaptation. So every minute that passes is a new constraint system. So everything has actually altogether changed. So we have to rethink everything. And that's a very natural way of survival. Nature tries some channels. So for an animal to get out of the sea, for example, begins to breathe, and after there's a perfection is coming slowly. And I think it's important for our generation that we are in a context of a climate crisis, and a political crisis is everywhere, to be able to re-invite into the present some gestures from the past. That's a way to, I think we agree on that it's the only way to make a real revolution.
On that idea of adaptation versus research, and the way you put it with that fish that gets out of the water, how much is looking for a new path for evolution getting out of the water, how much is just put into the constraint of a sea drying out and forcefully needing to adapt to air. I think in that thin balance between constraint and will, we find the freedom of La Méditerranée that also gathers Greenbergs and others that we've mentioned of is it research or adaptation, survival, but therefore invention too. So not falling under, not going over, keeping a natural steady line of evolution into time.
And I think it's quite well reflected in the nature of the works and the diverse provenance, because it's important to say that it was not only works from the Zuzāns collection, it was also works taken from the Ethnographic Museum, works taken from the architectural archives of Riga, and also artists were invited, some of them which are not in the collection, like Nika Kutateladze, who's from Georgia, dialoguing with some also diverse typologies of work that are taken from the collection. So, I mean, if we quickly, as a cinematographic move, go from like starting from icons, then an ensemble of the Latvian old masters like Purvitis, Rosenthal's, Walter Kuro, moving to, as we talked about, to the 70s, the pollutionist, Valdis Abolins, who's a male artist, very interesting, and that's we've put in dialogue with a conceptual artist from Japan, Ankawara, who's a private loan, and then we've working with contemporary artists from the collection that are really important pieces, such as this amazing piece by Alicia Quade. We have like Sania Kantarovsky, who's also like a great painter. Miriam Khan, who's like one of the angular stone also of the composition of the exhibition. David Elmage. I mean, it was so this whole set of the diversity of those is
No, and actually diversity, let's say diversity wouldn't be our conclusion, it would be our starting point, because that's been the starting point for contemporary art. We need to build on that and transcend that. So we're not actually displaying forcefully that diversity, we're trying to make it work together as a world in itself. So we wouldn't be making a claim, as we don't work in that sense with themes. We're really trying to look at the work and the possibilities that we have as they are and take the possibilities in hand.
Yeah, that's true. Artworks have so much more to say than responding to a theme and a situation. So that's what we are looking for, and for every artwork to be able to reach the audience in a very subtle and a very fulfilling way.